Now the task is to get our ball to bounce off of the bottom wall, right? So let's assume our ball is moving this way, right? Because our dx is 5 and our dy is -5. Okay? So the ball's moving like this, downward. And then eventually we get to here. And so what's the condition that needs to be met for us to change the direction the ball moves? Well, if you look here and we take a look at the x position and the y position, right? A ball starts out here with our y position at -53, and as we move down, you can see our y position is increasing, right? And once the ball gets to here and our y position is at -157, that's when we want the ball to begin moving upward, right? We want the ball to continue moving to the right, but we just don't want the ball to move down. We want the ball to move up now. And so what we can do to do that, is we can change the value of the dy, right? Because remember, the dy is being added to the ball's current position, and that's why our ball is moving downward, because we're adding -5 to the ball's current position, right? So we're moving -5, -5, -5. But now if we hit this area here, then we can add +5, right? If we can change dy to +5, then when we add dy to the ball's y position, it's going to begin moving upward, right? And that's exactly what we're going to do. So the first step is to check if the ball has reached this spot here, right? And so again, if we ever need to check for something, then we're going to be using the if statement. So let's put the if statement right there in the for loop, and we're going to be checking if, let's say, the y position is less than this current value here, and I'm going to use -155, right? So now we know the ball hit the bottom area. What do we need to do? We need to change dy from -5 to +5. And how can we do that? Well, we can do that many different ways, and we can come here to data, and we could say set dy to +5, right? But the way that I like to do it, and the way that makes the most sense to me as a computer scientist, is to multiply my current dy by a -1. Right? So if I take dy, which is -5, and I multiply it by -1, right, then it doesn't matter if it's negative or if it's positive, it's going to change signs. Right? So if it's -5, it'll turn to +5. If it's +5, it'll turn to -5. And so this is the way that makes the most sense to a computer scientist, but you can also do it this way. All right? And so let me go ahead and come back over here, and we can say, go to operators, and maybe we could say something like set dy to this expression. Right? So our dy is not going to be equal to -5 anymore. It's going to be equal to +5 because we multiply it by a -1. And so let's see if that works. Right? Ball's going. Now it begins to move up. Did you see that? Right? Why? Because our dy, if you look here, is -5. But once it hits this y position, right, and this is a true statement that our y position of the ball is less than -155, then we reset our dy to +5, right? -5 times -1. Okay, so it hit the ball came down, it hit the wall, and then starts to move up because our dy is equal to +5. So we're going to use the same technique when the ball hits the wall here or hits the wall up here. Right? So yeah, so I guess we can go ahead and do this wall on the right side, and then I'll let you go ahead and do the conditions for the top wall and the left wall. So how are we going to do this? We're going to check again. So we're going to use another if statement, and we're going to say here we don't care about the y position, right? This wall here on the right side we only care about the x position, right? If the x position is greater than where the ball currently is at, So if it's greater than 215, then we want to change the dy of the ball. I'm sorry, the dx, so that it stops moving to the right and the ball starts moving to the left. So I'm actually just going to duplicate this code here, and I'm going to go ahead and throw this away. I don't want my y position, and actually I don't want a less than either. I want a greater than. So let me go get a greater than sign, and I don't care about my y position, so I'm going to change this to my x and come over here. I'm going to, if dx is greater than 215, then I'm going to change my dx by multiplying it by -1. Right? And so let's go ahead and try that. Boom, boom. Ooh, that didn't work. So if dx is greater than 215, I'm going to take my current dx and multiply it by -1. Oh, I'm sorry. This is not going to be dx, right? It's greater than 215 because dx is equal to 5, and dx is never going to be greater than 215. Right? So I have this wrong. I don't want to compare my dx. I want to compare my ball's x position. So now that I have my condition correct, I'm going to hit my green flag, and you can see it bounces. Right? But I still haven't checked if it bounces off the top wall or the left wall. Right? I'm going to let you go ahead and do that.